This movie lacks so much context, and that's kind of how this entire film has been for me. Hello, I am Gehenna. I love spooky movies, spooky games, and a lot of Resident Evil. And speaking of spooky movies, I recently saw Iron Lung. And I will say that the theater was already packed, way more than Return to Silent Hill ever was. If you would like to see my review on that movie, I actually do have one up, and it does come from someone who has played the games. I do want to start off by saying I have never played Iron Lung, unlike Silent Hill. However, I did watch gameplay, a little bit of gameplay, after watching this film, so I will be referencing some of the lore that I do know. Correct me if I am wrong on any of this lore in the comments, please. I actually do really like this universe, and already this game seems to have very minimal lore to begin with, but going into this movie, I had a general idea of what it was about, and of course, most people have heard of it at least. When this film first got announced, I already knew to expect a lot of isolation. I was very curious on how this film was even going to be portrayed. I mean, everyone nowadays has TikTok brain, and we can hardly keep our attention for longer than a minute. So I was kind of just wondering, how is Markiplier going to keep us engaged for 2 hours? Is kind of just limited to just a very small space. I was not expecting much from this movie. I'm just going to say that. I was not going into this film thinking it was going to be life-changing. I'm not a huge Markiplier fan. I mean, obviously I know him, but I don't watch him religiously. I don't really watch him at all, actually. I really only watched him when I was really young, and I am an adult now, so I did go into this film for the game, mostly. But making a film is really hard, and not only that, but writing it too, and Markiplier did both of those. If you're watching this review expecting to see someone on something or to hate on it, I am not that person. I am very easily pleased when it comes to films. I'm going to be going into this review as lightly as possible because this is an independent film, from what I know. Unlike Silent Hill, this film gets a little bit more grace. If you want to see me actually on something, go watch my Silent Hill review. I really did not like that movie. I also want to say I am not sick in this video, and I am filming this on my iPhone, so let me know if you actually like this more, because my camera decided to just die today. Anyways, let's get into this, really get into this. I'm going to start with the atmosphere and the tone of this film. I was on the edge of my seat pretty much this entire film. I will be fair, not because I was generally very interested in this film. I was just wondering what the hell is going on half the time, because like I said, I knew nothing about the game that much, and so I was just on the edge of my seat, waiting for the what, the big oh my god, what moment, and I just never got that. This movie does not have any jump scares that I remember. That isn't me hating on this film. I'm just saying that if anyone out there still doesn't know if this is worth watching, which I already am going to tell you that it totally is. And if you're scared of jump scares, there are absolutely none in this film that I remember. And I will say that the ending of this film, I actually did like it. The way that he ended this film makes me think that there might be more that could come out with this universe. And I'm actually very hopeful for that, because I really do like the concept of Iron Lung and its universe. The only thing is, I still have a lot of questions about this film, and not only that, but just the game in general and the lore of the game. I would love for those to get answered in the future, but this movie did not end in a satisfying way. It was good, but it didn't end in a way where the story was wrapped up really good, in my opinion. I do want to say that the sound was great. I liked that there was some little Easter eggs from the game that you could hear in the film. You can hear the sensors go off, you can hear the creaking of the Iron Lung, but I did leave this theater with the biggest headache ever, and I think the reason why was because the voice acting is great in this film, but there is a radio that is constantly talking, and there was a filter over that radio, obviously, to make it sound like a radio. And I just think that that filter was just way too much for my head personally. And I just ended up leaving the theater with the baddest headache ever. Did anyone else get a giant headache at the end of the film, or was it just me? I would love to know. I also do want to say that I was not bored while watching this. I have been watching a few other reviews saying that the very beginning of this film is slow, but what do you guys expect? I think a lot of people expect movies to just throw you into the universe, and there needs to be time for a setting to happen and for lore to be explained. I also do want to say that Return to Silent Hill had $20 million had 20 million more in their budget than Iron Lung, and it was still really bad. And not only that, but Return to Silent Hill was a 1 hour and 45 minute long movie, and this movie actually ran longer with a much smaller budget. A little earlier in this video, I did say that I was curious on how Markiplier would keep the audience engaged when the setting is so small, and there was a lot of new angles and viewpoints that you get of the tiny sub that he's in, and that's kind of what keeps you engaged in this movie, is seeing little bits of this sub more and more. And not only that, but introducing characters on the radio also helped a lot too. So I was actually surprised that I was not bored in this film, even though we were not in very many settings. But I guess it kind of just boils down to people's attention span. Now, I do want to go into Markiplier's writing and performance in this film. I already want to start off by saying his acting was really good. I was not expecting his acting to be good at all, because I just didn't... Typically, YouTubers, like, they have their personalities, but acting is completely different, especially in a movie. So I was not expecting him to be good at all. I was kind of expecting this to be a little cringy, but the acting was really good. There were times when I was like, it could be better, but when my partner said this, and he was totally right, when Markiplier's character Simon is angry or just like full of rage, he is so good at acting that. And not only that, but I was surprised that he was able to act pain too, or like when the character's in pain. He was a good actor, I do want to say that. But this is where my biggest issue with the film kind of takes place, is if you have not played this game or you know nothing about this game, you will not know what the hell is going on in this movie. The beginning of the film gives you the smallest little bit of lore, tells you kind of what's going on and why you're in the Iron Lung, but after that you get nothing. You're getting thrown names that you have no clue what they mean. Eden, Koi, or COI, I don't know how you're properly supposed to say it. Filament, Station, these are things that I don't know as a viewer because I haven't gotten that deep into the game. And someone I recently watched who did a Silent Hill review said that movies that are adaptations to games need to be good for people who don't even play the games either. They need to be good as standalone content. And I completely agree with that, because this film, I had no clue what the hell was going on after the beginning. Once I got my little bit of lore, after that, I was like expected as the viewer to know these names, and I don't know anything about them. A great example that I will always say is Fallout does great with this. It's a great show for people who have never played the games, but it's also a great show for people who have played the games. And I think that it's really hard to find that balance, but it's important to find that balance. I literally had to go home and I had to look up kind of like a really big summary on Iron Lung and what the hell is going on in this universe, because I just left the theater with a lot of questions, and I shouldn't have to look up information, right? The movie should just be good on its own. My final verdict of this is I think this film is very, very, very good for the people who actually have played the game. If you're a Markiplier fan, you'll love this movie too. But if you're just here for the spooks and you just wanted to watch an indie spooky movie, I don't think this is a good film for you. This is very much a passion project, and you can tell that it is. And because of that, it is very much revolved around the universe of Iron Lung. And it's not scary. This movie isn't really scary. It's very much just a fan film. That's what it feels like, at least. And if you love Iron Lung, you'll love this movie. I wish Silent Hill actually did something similar to this to make the fans happy. I much rather would watch a movie for the fans of a universe than completely shitting on the universe to begin with. But let me know, did you watch Iron Lung and what did you think about the movie? Did you expect it to be as successful as it was? I'm actually very, very happy that it was successful. And if you have played the game, was this the film for you? Were you satisfied watching this? Movie reviews are something new to my channel, so if you do enjoy them, please like, and I will be making more of these. I love going to the theater and watching the latest spooky movies. My content is very much all about everything spooky, and I do love gaming a lot. Is coming out in, I believe, 2 weeks, and so my next video will be doing a wrap-up of all the news that we have gotten this month. And then finally we will get our Resident Evil release. So if that's something you're interested in, I love Resident Evil here, and if you are a Resident Evil fan, please subscribe. I will be talking a lot about Resident Evil in the next coming weeks. I got a Wesker cosplay guide coming out. I have a Wesker makeup test coming out, and I also will definitely be making videos on Resident Evil Requiem. I pre-ordered it. Everything is ready to go on that. And I also currently have a little side project going on for Resident Evil 0, because we appreciate every Resident Evil game here, not just the remakes and not just the fan favorites. I do love me some Resident Evil 0. But thank you for watching. Bye.
Cruising depth in roughly 40 seconds. Stand by. I'm seeing some voltage irregularities in the instruments, so keep an eye out for sparks or flames or anything like that. Approaching maximum depth. The hole's sealing it, but it's still holding strong. Closing porthole shielding. We're starting to lose radio signal. You'll be at cruise depth soon, so refreshing and be careful. You're on your own.